It's good sounds of happiness. Sounds that heal all the recent wounds are all healed here at Ronnie Scott's. There's always somebody blowing something beautiful and talking the kind of unconscious poetry that only good music can speak.
I tell you, from this altitude and with that low sun, there's no question of the sharpness of the topographic features in the landing area.
Good morning. How you doing, Snake? I just went to the store before we went live. I got some purple plums and a yerba mate. Let me show real quick. Just snacking on a little bit of fruit. And we got the usual. It's gonna be a good day. Let me fix my laptop. There we go. Okay. That should be good. So yeah, I don't know quite what to do today. We got a couple options actually. Turn this down so it's right under my voice a little bit. We might get started with this with a little 30-minute react. I kind of want to watch this right here. This why WoW players are switching to old school Runescape. Here, let me turn this down just a little more just in case. Okay, that should be good as background noise. So I kind of want to watch and react to this on stream because I'm very interested in it. It just got uploaded a day ago, so I feel like this would be a really good react for me to do. And I can try to chop it out of my YouTube live stream and see if I can upload it as a YouTube video is kind of my thinking. Which leads into, we have quite a few options for today's gaming. Of course, we have more Lies of P. I kind of do want to play a little more Lies of P so I can justify eventually buying the DLC. But we also might give old school RuneScape a try. So my story with RuneScape, I hated RuneScape actually. I got started with MapleStory as my first MMO on a computer around like 2004-ish. I played that for quite a good while. And a lot of my friends back in school told me about RuneScape. And I tried it for like an hour as a kid, and I hated it. I thought it was just a bad game. It was using the mouse to click to move. I didn't have the WASD. Like, it was all backwards to me. Let's be real, the graphics are dog shit too, right? And then I played WoW, and I was like, no way in hell am I playing RuneScape. RuneScape is just poor man's World of Warcraft. That used to be my logic. And I mean, it still kind of is, right? Let's not kid ourselves. But you never played either? Nice. So yeah, probably similar for you. I mean, everybody knows RuneScape, right? But I never just really wanted to play it because I always felt like I wanted to go play other RPGs that suited me more. But been seeing so many streamers like Goooo and Soda Poppin' and Mad Season and Savix, like a lot of World of Warcraft streamers who I've watched for a really long time. They've all been giving RuneScape a little bit of a shot. So I've been kind of tempted to at least want to try it myself. Because watching it, I've actually been kind of interested, which has been a first. Because anytime in the past I've ever tried to get into RuneScape, I really didn't want to like play it at all. But the old school community there does seem really great. And yeah, here, let's just get started with watching the video. We'll go through as much of that video as we can. And then whenever I feel... Oops, intro music, actually. Whenever we feel like switching to a game, we'll just switch to a game. All right. Let me also turn off all the fun filter things real quick. This properties filters off. There we go. Okay, now we're back in normal color. But yeah, let's give this a shot. All right, I'm gonna do a cheesy YouTube intro real quick. I'm gonna give it a shot. Why not, right? See what happens. All right, what's up, YouTube? Welcome in. This is Sir Crumpler with Sir Crumpler Gaming. May have seen me before, probably not. But we're going to be watching this video right here called Why WoW Players Are Switching to Old School RuneScape. Me and myself too, I'm an old WoW guy. Got started around 2004, 2005, something like that. But I've played on and off a lot of my life. I haven't been a full WoW addict my entire life. Definitely had my phases though. Really good game. I used to not really like RuneScape growing up as a kid, as I was just explaining a little bit ago, because I didn't feel like it was a game that captured me, because I had already played a lot of other games that kind of spoiled the pot, per se, after playing things like MapleStory and World of Warcraft, and even other RPGs and other action combat games on console. My logic as a kid was, why would I want to play this browser game when I have all these other games? And RuneScape just didn't feel like it fit me at all. But I've been really enjoying watching a lot of my favorite World of Warcraft streamers stream RuneScape of recent, so it's been making me want to give it just a little bit of a try. Here, can I reduce my camera a little bit more? I think this is just a wee bit too big. Yeah, we'll put that there, and then we'll move. Oh, for the love of God, man. It's shift? Yeah, it's shift. Aha, there we go. Okay. Is that pretty lined up? Nope, now it shows the thing underneath it. We can get rid of a boop. Okay, now we're good. All right, let's get started watching.
Why are there so many World of Warcraft players switching to old school RuneScape? You must have noticed them, right? Lurking around the Grand Exchange, trying to parse on a goblin, wondering where their ability bars are, and asking how Jagex is managing to update the game rather than re-releasing the same exact content over and over and over again. I sure did, because I'm one of those WoW players. A year and a half ago, after around half a month of MMO soul searching, I found old school RuneScape. I had quit WoW after Mythic raiding for around a decade for various reasons. I was sick of the short-form, seasonal ethos of the game, devaluing any and all of my progression, sick of the only valuable content being instanced, bored of the binary itemization and samey loot, and disheartened by Blizzard's complacency with the classic incarnation of the game.
I do disagree with him on the classic incarnation part. I am a huge classic enjoyer. I think classic is one of the best things to have happened to gaming. Vanilla World of Warcraft Classic is one of the best things to have happened to gaming within the last 5 years. Period. Old school RuneScape definitely opened the door, but classic World of Warcraft bashed it open fully. Now every video game company everywhere wants to re-release their old catalog. From Nintendo to Sony to Sega to Microsoft to everybody wants to do this now because Blizzard showed that it is actually a financially doable proposition.
Clearly, I wasn't the only one. Mad Season, Goooo, Caradus, Savix, and more have since begun their first steps into this beloved.
I just want to note, I'm a lover of Goooo, but he was very hesitant for the last 2 months while doing variety. Everybody kept telling him after hardcore WoW died, Goooo, try RuneScape next. Goooo, try RuneScape next. And then he played all kinds of variety. Love that. But let's not kid ourselves that it took him just a little bit. But he's the one who opened this door.
Curated sandbox. What about RuneScape seems to have translated for the World of Warcraft player, and why? First, we must acknowledge where these WoW creators come from. Unlike myself, most of them are classic WoW players, an old-school 2004 incarnation of World of Warcraft, much like old-school RuneScape is of RuneScape. Unlike OSRS, though, this version of World of Warcraft is following the timeline of WoW itself. Blizzard has been updating Classic WoW every few months with new patches and eventually the very same expansions that released years ago. The initial release in 2018 is now entering the Mists of Pandaria expansion and resembles Retail WoW, the modern game, much more than it does Classic WoW or Vanilla WoW, the version from 2004. It's interesting to imagine a version of old-school RuneScape that just kind of began releasing all the same updates, eventually ruining the game for the very same players that returned to it because it lacked those updates. Blizzard understood and saw this as the player base continued to shrink. Therefore, they opted for the seasonal servers that remixed the standard classic vanilla WoW experience. The Season of Mastery and eventually the Season of Discovery. These year-long servers run down the line of all the same patches that were released between 2004 and 2006, with some updates. The latter, Season of Discovery, or SOD, introduced runes and granted all kinds of player power in the form of new abilities and many old ones from future expansions, as well as reworked some of the raids and even added one new raid toward the end. It was an interesting experiment. Finally, Blizzard released the Classic Anniversary servers, so just Vanilla Classic again, for a second, or some would argue fourth time. That's the first point to take note of. These creators love WoW. Even I, to a certain extent, still do as well, especially Classic, a version of the game that I think is most tangibly an MMORPG. It's wonderful.
I have been
Yet,
very tempted to
regardless of
replay
your
myself
love for
again,
it, anything
recently.
exceptional becomes dry over time, especially when not allowed to exist in our mind. Being fed the same thing, as great as it may be, over and over again doesn't foster a larger community, it pushes those sick of it away. And the amount becoming sick only increases in time. The repeated cycles of Classic aren't getting any fresher, and next time Blizzard relaunches Classic servers, chances are they'll see even less popularity. Similarly, Blizzard has floated the idea of a Classic Plus. This has been a long-running desire from the player base. Instead of re-releasing the same content, why not add truly new content to the game? In many ways, SOD was experimenting in that regard. Sadly, I'm a bit concerned with this. First, Blizzard's survey that introduced this idea was filled with nothing even remotely interesting systemically. It had a whole host of quality of life features such as account-wide collections and graphical improvements. Essentially, they were pitching retail WoW features alongside what Blizzard does most confidently: instanced content, new raids, dungeons, and so on. I suppose that's what people want, but I also think that this will kill the game down the line. You can add new skills, new classes, however, disregarding the architecture that makes most of these things function is an issue. It may work well for retail, but that's because the modern version of WoW is competitive and singular in its vision. It has an exceptional combat system that is the sole point of interaction with the rest of the game. By comparison, Classic WoW is emergent. It wouldn't be far-fetched to say that it is defined by its leveling experience more so than its endgame. Because endgame in Classic WoW, the farming for pre-raid bis and then raid logging, isn't the most evocative or unique feature. Leveling through the enormous uninstanced open world, forming groups to take down elites and brave difficult quests, finding ways to solo bosses, just running through the dense jungles and open plains. That is Classic WoW. The endgame is held together 100%. By emergent interactions never intended by the developers and seemingly never acknowledged since. The interpersonal relations of managing 40-odd raiders, the faction collusion, the war effort that saw, in my opinion, one of the best game series ever created around it. Even the collective fight paths to gather meticulously timed world buffs. These are the heartbeat of the game that aren't retained by just improving graphics, adding instanced player housing, and a new class. This survey saw Blizzard double down on things that are neat, I guess, but aren't what actually makes Classic WoW good. With all of that out of the way, we must also acknowledge the lull that Classic is currently in. The anniversary servers are chugging along with the 100-odd thousand players still logging weekly, Season of Discovery has ended, and the modern version of Classic WoW, Jesus Christ, there are so many versions, is entering an expansion that most original players aren't likely to return to. During this lull, people want something, and that something, for whatever reason, is old-school RuneScape. RuneScape and WoW have a combative history with one another. I'm sure older players remember just how competitive and defensive these two groups were. The RuneScape versus World of Warcraft videos on the fledgling website known as YouTube were a not uncommon thing to see. The arguments at a lunch table, the friendships broken or lost, all of it laid a foundation for many experiences in the mid-2000s. And a singular truth was birthed from the din of childhood tribalism. World of Warcraft is better, because it's for people whose parents are generous enough to front $15 a month for a subscription. Meanwhile, RuneScape is the kids game for losers who can only get $5. Or none bucks, stuck in the beleaguered free-to-play worlds like jobless middle school peasants. At that point, World of Warcraft was on top of the world. It was reaching its subscriber peak and growing. While RuneScape was undeniably a cultural force, it was always the lesser of the two. Times have kind of changed since then. World of Warcraft's popularity, while still at the top, has waned. The game has stagnated, failing to reach a new audience. Meanwhile, RuneScape has died and been rebirthed twice. Old school RuneScape has not only been growing, it has been thriving, especially in the past 2 years where the player count has almost doubled. This is thanks to exceptional updates focusing on the early and mid-game experience and external community-driven marketing from creators and Jagex alike. Leagues, the limited-time Season of Discovery-esque but way
That's pretty
crazier
good.
game mode released in late 2024 saw more than 200,000 concurrent players, and now the game is reaching up those figures without the help of leagues at all. For reference, this is more concurrent players than the total individual raid logs in Classic WoW's Anniversary Edition every week. In July, we're seeing the release of the final
Oh, that's funny.
part of the newest continent, Varlamore, and shortly after that,
Because I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it right now. Raiders, if you ever watch this, all of you World of Warcraft raiders and loggers, you ruined this. It was you. You killed the fun. You made it a science. Stop it. This is not a science. It's a game. Have fun. Don't do that. Level. Be in the open world. Log in. Talk to people. Don't be antisocial. Go play the game. Don't min-max the game. That is the problem.
Old School's first entirely new skill, Sailing, which is expanding the world in ways never before seen in the game.
Okay, wait. He might get to this, but I watched this RuneScape live stream like a year or two ago, and people, at least in the live stream, were freaking out about this. They were like, "This is a terrible idea. What are you doing?" So let's see if he mentions that.
All it takes for the conversion for the WoW player to give it a go? Not entirely. OSRS offers certain similarities in experience that are worth mentioning, like the emphasis on emergent gameplay. Emergence is when unique, surprising interactions arise from engagement with standard systems in a video game. For example, in WoW Classic, it was the coordination between half a dozen guilds to time their world buff drops for the most amount of players to make sure there are no overlaps. These are methods of interaction never explicitly designed by the developers. They emerge thanks to player need and creativity. My favorite emergence system in Classic WoW was learning Dire Maul tribute runs on my Hunter all the way back in 2019. Not only was it a difficult solo challenge, but selling the loot and buffs to different players was a really cool way to earn money. These things don't exist in retail WoW. The game has been meticulously designed to be balanced and competitive. Therefore, any outliers such as this are immediately patched out. There's even a refrain popularized by players calling out this behavior. Fun detected, they say in unison as Blizzard removes an emergent mechanic that may trivialize something. In OSRS, this happens less. The line between exploit and emergence is thinner. It is also encouraged with the existence of the Wilderness, a zone where PvP is enabled and upon dying, you drop your loot. If you are not the aggressor, or unskulled, you retain 3 of your most expensive items, and if you are skulled, the aggressor, you lose everything. There is a tangible risk-reward in the Wilderness that makes it unlike anything else in theme park MMOs. It has singles areas for one-on-ones and multi-combat zones for group fights, fostering a truly sprawling and occasionally terrifying environment. It has its issues, but is ultimately a totally unique element of RuneScape. The open world PvP during Classic WoW's heyday was kind of similar to this. If you decided to play on a PvP server, it wasn't uncommon to run into roving warbands of bloodthirsty players farming honor points on random people. It created a hide-and-seek leveling experience that definitely got tiresome, but was pretty crazy nonetheless. This system is only begotten to Wilderness in Old School, so it's a bit more manageable there. Of course, in PvP, death is nowhere near as punishing in WoW as you only lose time, but the general ethos of open PvP is worth considering as a point of interest. OSRS has emergence that extends far past PvP too. It wouldn't be far-fetched to suggest that the vast majority of PvE bosses in RuneScape have emergent mechanics defining them. whether it be safe
Interesting.
spotting Dagannoth Kings, butterflying Akka, soloing Cox, and anything in between. Even the skilling in OSRS is often thought of as an emergent experience thanks to tick manipulation being a valid method for a lot of players. It also has an effective blend of communality and solo expression.
Interesting.
Some of the most difficult content in OSRS is solo. However, the experience of playing the game itself is a lot more communal. Not in the sense that it demands grouping, that's not the only method of multiplayer communality, just being around others is enough. Because the game isn't linear in its progression, it's a sandbox. No zone is ever out-leveled or outright devalued. You are just as likely to see high-level players in Varrock, the second city most players go to, as you are in the elven city of Prifdinas. Mario. Not only does this make the game feel more alive, it also creates the emergent experience of seeing someone, as soon as you zone in, wearing way cooler shit than you are, and giving you something to aspire to as a result. This is of course dead in retail WoW thanks to the overabundance of cosmetic overrides applying in-game visuals to anyone, anywhere, making it impossible to tell if someone is a badass because they cleared a mythic raid or just swiped their credit card or farmed an old piece of content while watching YouTube videos on another monitor. Classic WoW, at least the original version, didn't have cosmetic overrides, so being able to actually see what someone is wearing lent a credible aura of authenticity to the game world and its player base. Everything felt of that world, and the items being worn gained an aesthetic value. They were recognized. The legendary armaments were legendary. That has since faded in time thanks to the repeated launches and eventual mastery of all the content, but it did exist at one point. Because it's persistently updated, OSRS never lost that, and while certain gear may be less impressive today than it was in 2015 or 2005, new gear has taken its place. Seeing someone in Sanguine Torva or the newly released Radiant Oathplate armor, especially if they achieve these things on an Iron Man, is incredibly impressive. Just having that communally recognized value promotes more people to seek that recognition. After all, flexing your hard-earned achievements is a core part of existing alongside other people, whether it be in-game or not. World of Warcraft, at least right now, is failing to offer a permanent home for its players, asking them time and time again to recreate the same characters and re-experience the same events.
Bro, I wish Classic WoW Hardcore had these challenges. Goodness gracious, man.
That's not bad.
These are so
That's
cool.
the last bat wave. I have a decent amount of prayer.
This is exactly what I've been
56
asking
also
for
had a
forever.
bit of a sketchy lore, but not one that I haven't done before.
It's funny, I criticize retail WoW for becoming a fleeting seasonal experience that devalues everything you've earned every new patch, but Classic WoW has become that too. With every new incarnation, it resets everyone back to zero and asks them to run that treadmill again. Blizzard is plagued by the disease of seasonality. They seem incapable of creating anything outside of that paradigm because it is the only way to foster continuous engagement in their eyes. Perhaps that's more a fault of the theme park MMO than it is of their own creativity. The Season of Discovery, being seasonal in name, also operated this way. It had incremental level gates, 20, 30, 40, and so on, that acted like miniature expansion releases with a new raid, some new content, and new abilities and other stuff. Blizzard, being tied to this seasonal model, was terrified of making players feel like they need to catch up to their friends, so they caught up for them. Level boosts, experience boosts, and so on. It became so disconnected conceptually from the original classic, the original vanilla, the experience people originally connected with, that it asked them to skip it entirely. Expediting the leveling in classic is like offering maraschino cherries as the dessert itself. It's like the rosemary being garnished by the steak. It makes absolutely no sense and caters to a demographic of players that exist antithetically to an MMO. The genre is defined by persistent engagement, a world that continues living, but by promoting momentary engagement for incredibly short periods of time, you create artificial bursts of popularity and then long lulls where most prospect players don't want to join because it looks dead. But here we are today. Players clearly want some kind of emergent experience in a growing game. One of my favorite examples of this was actually in Classic WoW's anniversary servers released only a little while ago. OnlyFangs, a content creator-driven guild conceptualized by streamer Sodapoppin. It was a communal experiment, a creator house like you'd see back in
When I say soda, you say, you know.
2016, but done in World of Warcraft. It was a persistently running reality television show that tested the mental fortitude of all those involved, because OnlyFangs was less so about the game and more so about people interacting with one another through the game.
At first.
Look at that is insane. Oh my god, the holy shit! No, P-Mob, you've gotten every single item! You have gotten a lot of items. He's gotten it, and it's good for Warrior. You've gotten every item, bro.
Listen. I'll pass if you come to my stream and rate my physique.
Wait, what? Holy you're shredded, bro. What the
I was not
Wait, is that a bodysuit? Wait, this guy is shredded, by the way.
Wait, it's actually huge.
What's your body fat percentage?
I followed Tyler 1's journey through the guild's rise and eventual dissolution. Tyler 1 is, of course, another streamer, popular for his abrasive and somewhat controversial personality and exceptional League of Legends play. Never having played Classic WoW before, he ventured into OnlyFangs with an open mind. OnlyFangs was created on the hardcore server, meaning that if you die, you lose your character.
If you die in game, you die
the guild
IRL.
ran alongside a host of add-ons, or in RuneScape terminology, plugins, that created race-driven competitions. Undead, Tauren, Orcs, and Trolls all competed against one another through this external system. There were raffles, battles, arguments, and everything in between. During this process, I watched Tyler 1 learn the game, go from meandering around, keyboard turning, and sometimes forgetting to attack, to running a 40-man raid. His interaction with different content creators, his fabricated drama with Sodapoppin, his insistence to essentially roleplay a rise to power narrativized the entire experience. It did so well that when he died, it became a legendary moment within the community. While leading a raid into Molten Core, battling the fire elemental Baron Geddon, Tyler 1 was faced with a decision. Go for the kill, DPSing down the final few percent and healing through the AoE explosions, or play it safe, run away. His fatal call was to
Real ones stay in. Real ones stay in. Always remember that.
DPS. Go full hog, as they say. Zug the Zuggler. Full send. And his shouts echoed through the voice call, unaware that many had already begun to run. Because when a death means a reset of your progress, it's every man for himself.
Go back in, everybody back in,
Go back in.
Big heals. Big
Big heals on me!
Big heals on me! I'm death wishing. Big heals
I'm
on
death
me.
wishing! Big heals on me!
Holy shit.
Let the
It's
bomb.
him.
Big
Go
heals on
Tyler,
me.
go Tyler,
Big
go
heals on
Tyler.
me. You can't listen. Finish it.
You can't
Don't run,
listen.
finish. Finish. Don't run. Finish.
If even just a couple of more people would have stayed in, it would have been fine.
Oh my god.
No.
The boss fell, but not without the death of many of those brave enough to fight alongside their war chief in his final moments.
Real
This
ones
felt
stay
like the
in.
end of the story, and for many it was. It was facilitated by Classic WoW, by the hardcore servers, by the raid itself, but this existed only due to the emergent methods through which these creators decided to approach this re-release. Why do I bring this up though? For an OSRS player, it may be obvious. This happens all the fucking time in RuneScape. Not on the same scale as OnlyFangs and Sodapoppin's achievement of managing to wrangle in the egos of dozens, if not hundreds, of content creators for months was unlike anything I've ever seen, but in a microcosm, this is RuneScape's most common creator-driven element. The best comparison is Deadman All-Stars, wherein a large OSRS content creator solo mission teamed up with Jagex by obtaining a custom server wherein 35 of the largest content creators in the game created teams of 5 in a full PvP version of the game. Almost every area became dangerous. In these servers, all 35 creators had expedited experience rates and drops, and a bit over a week of time to gear up for the finale. A King of the Hill style one-on-one deathmatch where they, donning the gear they've collected, were put to the test against one another. The 10-day period that this event spanned was amongst the most fun in the game's history, as following the individual and group-wide achievements and battles became so many people's day-to-day habit. The battles fought, the gear lost, the upsets, the strategies, the drama, it felt like a condensed version of OnlyFans buoyed by each creator's personality, loudest of which was Odablock. Odablock is the largest old-school RuneScape streamer. He, much like Tyler1, is an abrasive, controversial figure with a huge fan base. He's also one of the best PvPers in the entire game. He was the captain for the Odablock Warriors, and throughout this event, they became, in some ways, the focal point, the core narrative. In the draft, Odablock recruited what was considered to be the strongest set of PvPers. They were the only ones capable of defeating the solo mission snakes, a team labeled as this season's villains. This was because they had a rather toxic player that received a yellow card for potentially stream sniping. This was made worse by this player's previous history of less than honorable behavior, to put it simply. On top of this, many felt as though the snakes didn't have a particularly fun way of playing, as they locked down a specific area of the game and farmed it, all the while taking on group fights to snowball their growing advantage. On the day of the finale, tensions were high. Odablock broke over 100,000 concurrent viewers, and simultaneously the old school and RuneScape streams had a collective concurrent viewership of over 150,000. To say that this event gained traction would be an understatement. As the Warriors began their first fight, it wasn't looking good. Good players fell early, and in this King of the Hill style system, the person who defeated the other remained in battle, granting the opposing team the ability to snowball an advantage. The cards did not look to be in the Warriors' favor, but Odablock himself hadn't yet stepped in the ring. As the bell rung and his character moved in, he disconnected. His entire home was DDoSed, and the competition, for a brief moment, was put on hold.
The Warriors, what can he do to claw this fight back?
Come on, you are Odablock. Play like Odablock.
No, I think this is actually a tactical decision. With
Really?
his sigils, yeah. He's got the sigil of the Meticulous Maid, so he's got that extra 40 accuracy bonus, so he can afford to sit in this tanky Verak skirt for some of the freezes.
That's
when
me
he
told.
knows.
Was it like instantly or after a little bit?
So, somebody did ask me, bro. It has to be because I didn't even start yet. I didn't even start yet. As soon as I crossed the border, I DC'd. Wow, that's so fucking cringe. I don't know what to do. I'm not gonna lie.
That's insane.
I don't know what to do.
That's
Because
actually
the
insane.
phone, the hotspot, you just can't. It can't hold it. It can't hold.
Are you able to change house? People are spamming. I'm not sure if that's viable. Like, how long would it take you? If that could happen, how long would that take you?
I could try it. Yeah, maybe like 5 minutes. I could just run to a different house.
He rushed over to a friend's home, mouse and keyboard in hand, in an effort to continue the fight. However, it just wasn't the same. It is one thing to play on a friend's setup, and that alone doesn't feel great. But to do so in such a high-stakes, high-skill competition, it's borderline impossible.
Yeah,
While he performed admirably, his misclicks were noticeable. The precision needed to play old-school RuneScape well is beyond any other MMO, so even a small change in setup create massive gaps in performance.
Crazy.
Ultimately, the Warriors performed well, but they did not win. Their matches were the most watched, and in many ways, after their elimination, that story concluded. I bring up these two somewhat similar examples to showcase an overlap, a way to engage with the game that sometimes doesn't put the game first. This engagement uses it to uplift something else entirely, a community-driven event, a creator-designed story, a personally aspired to goal. The overlap between old-school RuneScape and WoW Classic isn't systemic. These games aren't similar. As Sodapoppin said while watching some OSRS videos, RuneScape is the bane for WoW players. It utilizes an entirely different skill set that doesn't translate. You'd think that would be a point of aversion, yet it isn't, because the point of connection is far more important for a lot of people. WoW players might be looking for something more permanent as they currently linger in the seasonal lull, a period between when their progress finished and when they must start it all again. A point of reflection that surely has some ask, why do I want to do it all again? To summarize, the lull that World of Warcraft is in currently, as every version of the game is between releases, has made its most prolific content creators branch out. This may not be a permanent investment, but it surely is interesting to see. These two old titans of the industry are still rubbing shoulders, but the balance of power might have started to change. If there's ever a time to visit old school RuneScape, it's now, on the cusp of its largest update. The benefit of it being a curated sandbox is that each edition is additive. The game has only become larger with time. It doesn't cannibalize itself with seasonal content. That alone could be something interesting to players that have become so accustomed to being cannibalized. I was one of them, after all, tired of spending months earning what became cosmetic overrides devalued by a glut of cosmetic overrides. WoW felt like it was shrinking, not in player base per se, but as a world. With every addition, with every update, the amount of land expands, but the relevant content only inhabits a smaller and smaller fraction of it. It was refreshing to step into a world as persistent as my kitchen and the roof over my head. The long-form nature of old-school RuneScape's progression incentivized me to pursue the grind, rather than recoil from it, because I knew that every time I inched closer to my goal, that goal wouldn't leap ahead by miles every half year. It would remain, and a new goal would be added somewhere between or somewhere after. Retail doesn't offer a home, even when the developers are hard at work on the player-owned housing system, because retail is as acommunal as possible. There is almost no emergence within its body because the intent of the game has disconnected entirely from its roots as an MMORPG. There is no core leveling experience, no overworld organization, no coordination needed for anything that isn't small group instanced content. It's a game split down the middle, a single-player lonely adventure through a barren overworld, flitting between checklist slop and the next instance dungeon, and the instance dungeon itself. For those that love this about retail, the ability to hop into a game and in a weekend find yourself caught up to everyone else, that's perfect, and likely why most would feel alienated by RuneScape. On the other hand, Classic WoW offers a bountiful leveling experience. The heights of OnlyFangs were never the raids, they were the journey to get to them. The leveling of Classic is, for those who do it, amongst the best gaming experiences because it effortlessly mixes flow state calm with heart-pumping danger, especially on hardcore servers. Old school RuneScape is something different. It is a game on a separate path. Matt Season is a classic WoW content creator who has cataloged his journey into old school RuneScape without guides, and for those who have watched his videos have surely seen, Matt Season is pulling from game knowledge outside of his classic World of Warcraft.
I should watch the WoW season one soon, or the Matt season, not WoW season.
WoW has not translated. But the appeal of slowly, often arduously moving through the world and becoming lost in the maze of systems and incomprehensible functions has evoked feelings that leveling in Classic once did. Not today, when leveling has become expected and understood, but back then, before the re-release, when every step felt fresh.
Nice, dude, this was a good video. I really liked that. He brought up a lot of really good points. And also, I'm going to just be able to say it now. Rattlesnake, very first follower on Kick. Super appreciated, man. So do I have VIP slots on Kick? Boom. Rattlesnake, for being numero uno on Kick, you get to be the first Kick VIP. Let's do it. Much appreciated, man. I also have a YouTube and a Twitch. I'm trying to get into doing all this in my free time a little bit. I've been watching streams and stuff for a long, long time. Finally have good enough internet, at least where I live right now, to be able to stream myself for a bit. So we've been doing to it, been playing a lot of games. I'm a WoW guy myself. It's how I first started getting into gaming, and also like Nintendo and stuff like that. At the moment, I'm a big variety guy. I play all kinds of games. Like the title says, we might play a little bit of Liza P later, or I might try RuneScape myself. I've never actually played RuneScape longer than like an hour or two. I've never even finished the tutorial. I'm pretty sure most of the time I've quit all my life is around the point where you cook shrimp. And then right around there, I quit. So like, I only ever get like 10 minutes into the game. I think maybe one time when I was a kid, I made it to like the first major city, but that's about it. But yeah, so we might give that a try. I also might be playing a little bit more. Let's see what else we got. We got so many. We got too many games. Night Rain a little bit. I've also been playing a little bit of Red Dead Redemption. I also stream every once in a while my achievement hunting in classic games. I'm not sure, Rattlesnake, if you're a big retro gamer, but I have a retro achievements account. If you ever want to follow me, or if you've never heard of this and you're into retro games, this is really cool. If you like playing retro games and just kind of want like a way to do achievements like on Steam and everything, this is really fun and a really big community thing. There's like 100,000 people on it right now. I think over like 1 million people have already signed up for accounts. But most people do the soft core. But it's a really cool thing. You can look all into it, or I can explain it at some point. Now, do we play some gaming? Or maybe I kind of want to watch that Mad Season video. How long is it? It was like 21 minutes, right? Oh, wow. It was from 8 months ago? I thought it was only from a few weeks ago. Oh my, time flies. Here, let's put this over here real quick. No gold challenge? That's crazy. Yeah, I guess the question is, should we watch some of this? Should we play a little bit of games? 'Tis the question. I'm actually surprised there's not that many people live right now. It's a pretty quiet, like, Wednesday. Let's see what oh yeah, and most importantly, Rattlesnake, if you're still here, I'm a big vintage story content creator. I think that's going to be one of my primary games, if you've ever heard of it, or if you've never heard of it. It's a very cool survival game that's like Minecraft, but just a lot more hardcore, a lot more realistic, a lot better mod support, all kinds of awesome, really good things. I have a server for it that a couple of my chatters also come into. Look into it sometime if you ever want to. Let's see, what do we got? What do we got? What should we do? What should we do? You know, I kind of feel like being a React Andy, and let's watch this. Let's watch the Mad Season video. Why not? Kind of feel like watching some stuff today, and maybe we'll play a little bit of games after.
Another night of distracting myself from the various problems in my life by playing World of Warcraft. Let's see what I can complain about today. The WoW token? Did I tell them so, by the way, yet this week? You see, back during the re-release of Classic, Blizzard made something of a little promise that What am I doing with my life?
Yeah, don't worry
I've been in this
about it,
cycle
man.
for 20 years now. 2 decades of putting things off. I could have spent all that time making mad games, learning skills, exploring the world. A real world filled with possibility and excitement. You know what? It all ends today. I think it's about time to be responsible and take a break from that addiction. And replace it with another.
Oh,
For the
yeah.
very first time, I'm going to be playing Runescape. But I still told you so, by the way. I'll be honest, I missed the boat on this one. My MMO footprint in the early days was first Phantasy Star on the Xbox, but it was offline because at the time I couldn't convince my parents to let me buy the Hunter's license, which was the subscription fee that allowed you to play with other players. After that, I stepped foot into the one and only, probably what many people consider to be the greatest MMO of all time, Star Wars Galaxies. And then there's this other one that I kind of messed around with casually for 20 years and made 600 videos about it. I don't know. It was bad. For those of you familiar with the channel, you know that I'm a depressed classic Andy. Aside from desperately trying to recapture a time of my life when it was much better, there's a certain innocent charm to the classic MMO style that's always appealed to me. So when I heard that old school RuneScape was launching, as someone who yearned for the good old days, I was a bit envious. Apparently not enough to actually play it though, which brings us to today in 2024, where for the first time I'm going to play old school RuneScape and share my impressions on it as a lifelong World of Warcraft addict. The first thing I want to say though is that this video is sponsored, but it's done under the understanding that I can say whatever the F I want, even criticisms. Those of you who watched my Jimmy React a few months back might remember I was planning on making this anyways. The second thing I'll say is that this is all completely blind. When I say I've never played it before, not only have I never played it, I've never even watched videos on it. No streams, nothing, aside I guess from Jimmy's video about RuneScape and nostalgia. And additionally, I have decided that I'm only going to use whatever in-game resources I have to figure things out. But being a professional gamer, I don't anticipate in having any problems. Right? So the first thing I noticed that any Azeroth native will notice is that there's no class selection, which may seem foreign, but as far as I know, this was more common during the pre-WoW era.
Yeah,
that's right.
That doesn't really throw me off.
That it splits the entire genre into before and after. Interesting to note though that there are no alts. It's just one account, one character. In fact, there isn't even a permanent realm selection and players are free to switch about, kind of like layer hopping from World of Warcraft. Yeah, I'm going to be making a lot of comparisons to WoW, by the way, if you haven't guessed that. Hopefully it's not too annoying, but I kind of played it for 2 decades, so it's just sort of how my brain works now. Speaking of being in WoW mentality, the first thing I did was swipe my credit card. RuneScape runs on a free-to-play model with no cash shops, but limited, where certain quests and items are locked to memberships, which is the subscription fee. I actually canceled my WoW sub though. I'm quitting forever again, if you didn't hear yet. So my mom was cool with, I was cool with subscribing to this one instead. The only things you choose during character creation is your name and appearance. Glad to see that they have the World of Warcraft streamer haircut. As you're probably aware, this is an isometric MMORPG, meaning that you click to move from a top-down view, similar to what was at that point another popular MMO, Ultima Online. And just to put things into perspective here, RuneScape was originally released in January of 2001, so the landscape of popular MMOs right now, at least in the West, would be games like Ultima Online, EverQuest. It's still the early internet.
I'll figure it out later.
Most families are sharing one computer, which is probably running on AOL and is infested with viruses because somebody keeps visiting these scandalous websites.
Yep.
There's no YouTube nor Twitch. Guide websites are sparse and poorly done, and the most you had really was your own wit and fellow players to guide you, so that's the mindset I'm going to be trying to replicate. And in fact, I won't even look at the comments of this video, so If you guys call me a monotone fuck, you'll probably get away with it. So there's this NPC at the start of the game to teach you the ropes, so naturally I ignore him, and the first thing I do is go If you guys call me a monotone fuck, you'll probably get away with it. So there's this NPC at the start of the game to teach you the ropes, so naturally I ignore him, and the first thing I do is go Elder Scrolls mode and attempt to steal everything that isn't nailed down. But unfortunately, much like how I feel on the inside, everything is empty. Okay,
Yeah.
well, what's the
Yeah,
point
I
of
feel
this?
that.
Ooh, here's this big chest. I bet you want to click on it and get
Bro!
all the loot. Oh, just kidding. You bastards. Oh wait, this is a sponsored video? Oh, I mean, that's a really good way to teach you that you can click on things in the environment. This is Tutorial Island, the very start of the game where the entire goal is to teach you how to play. Here you learn the basics. Right outside you're taught how to fish. World first 300 fishing in the recreation of a 15-year-old video game, by the way. How to cut down trees, and how to start a fire to cook the
Hilarious.
fish, which when consumed heals you. Yeah, food is the way of healing yourself. They went the Elder Scrolls route where you down 30 cheese wheels in between swings and you're good to go.
You gotta eat the lettuce. It's right, just straight up eat the lettuce.
Yeah,
The
it's
game
gotta
operates
eat
on
the
a skill
lettuce.
system where by doing these things, you
That's
get
one of my
better
favorite
at
scenes.
doing these things. The more you fish, the higher level areas you can fish, the better fish you catch, which heal you more. The more you lumberjack, the better at lumberjacking you are. Yeah, I know, it's a total ripoff of New World. This is what we call a sandbox. In BW, this was the standard of the genre. Players would be thrust into this giant world. They were given little direction and were just told to go get 'em, champ. Is a
Go get 'em,
subgenre where
tiger.
The world is your oyster, and though you have little direction, that means you also have more freedom. And it was only AW when the magic formula was found, and all of this shifted towards theme park and linearity. So you learn how to cook, how to mine, smelt, craft, melee combat, ranged combat, magics, all pretty straightforward. Melee combat has some stuff going on with stances, which gives you different XP depending on which one you pick. You have offensive styles, defensive styles, and considering I'm a Zug, I'm mainly interested in increasing that damage, so I'm just going to hang out in the plus sword icon so my damage increases. Right. Beyond the skill system, you're taught how to use all of the other features expected from an MMO, such as quests, how to use the bank. The ladder is where you learn about the poles. Even if you haven't played old school RuneScape, you've probably heard about this. This is the game's Classic Plus, but instead of releasing features where players stay in one area and do the same quests over and over to go from level 40 to 50 in the span of 5 hours while earning 1500 gold, these features are released with the intent to maintain the spirit of vanilla RuneScape. So how it works is that the developers present these features and the community as a whole votes on them, and if they pass a certain threshold, they will be developed into the game.
WoW needs this so badly.
But I think that the communities of these games are too often disregarded, and while the customer isn't always right, there's still value to be drawn from the neckbeard hive mind that have been hopelessly addicted to your game.
Yes,
So
yeah,
those are the
absolutely. You
major
shouldn't
updates,
always
but from
listen
what I'm
to what
understand,
people
it does
say,
also get
but you
updated
should
weekly. Some of them
definitely understand what the input implies. And sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. But even if they're wrong, they still have the feeling. So you need to address that.
Be as minor as balance updates and as major as entire new continents or systems, one of which is Iron Man mode, where if you talk to this NPC just outside, you can enable permanent character death. That's all well and good, but probably not a good idea for my first character, so I'm gonna save that for another time maybe. So,
Should have done the Goooo way. You
wait,
are
what the fuck? And with
brain
that, you
pussy.
depart Tutorial Island, and you're off into the great beyond. You're given a little direction in the form of adventure paths where by leveling up some core skills, you're given items and gold and gear to start you off until you get a good footing on the game. I'm given a set of iron armaments, and I'm off to find my first quest.
Interesting.
Opening the map, I find just how huge the world is. The starting town here is called Lumbridge, which, when fully zoomed out, is a pale blue dot within the world of Gielinor, which is the medieval realm that RuneScape is based around. And wow, this is a big game with a lot going on. Looks like my map has herpes. Well,
yeah, the map does kind of look ugly as hell. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
go to the nearest quest indicated by these blue and white icons on the map, and I talked to this old man. His name is Vios.
One of the things they could absolutely do is make that map look a little nicer. That would be one of my things.
Treasure hunter from the wondrous kingdom of Great Korend. He has a treasure map and has tracked it down to the town of Lumbridge, so naturally he entrusts it to a stranger that he met 10 seconds ago. Yeah, my first quest isn't to kill 10 boars or collect cactus apples. It's a treasure hunt. You're given a scroll, and you're told to buy a shovel because Vios is also a cheap dick. We buy the shovel from a general store just nearby, and I use it as an opportunity to clear my inventory of my bad gear and learn the shop interface a bit. I decide to hold on to my pot for now, and I use the scroll to reveal the following message. Within the town of Lumbridge lives a man named Bob. He walks out of his door and takes 1 step east, 7 steps north, 5 steps west, and 1 step south. Once he arrives, he digs a hole and buries his treasure. I think about it for a bit, and I say, screw that, let's F up some goblins. I think I might have ADHD, by the way, I don't know. I eventually regain my focus and scour the town for the elusive Bob, checking every house and mousing over every NPC for about 30 minutes until I find out he was 5 steps away from my starting position near the graveyard. He's the axe salesman of the village.
Oh, that's
I follow
funny.
the scroll's instructions and I dig up a treasure scroll. It shows a map of a building where X marks the spot, and opening the in-game map, I find pretty quickly that it's the castle right where you were left in Lumbridge, and wandering behind it near the X and digging a little bit, I find a mysterious orb that's cold to the touch. Bringing it to Vios, he tells me that it's basically a game of hot and cold where the closer you are to the treasure, the hotter the orb becomes, and this is pretty intense for a first quest. I mean, it's not necessarily complicated or anything, but it's just such a stark contrast to how babied gamers are these days. You know, games that are advertised as grand adventures lead you around step by step with yellow paint, deathly afraid of players getting lost and having to use their brain to figure stuff out.
Right.
And as it happens to turn out, I can't figure this quest out. I followed the orb to this building surrounded by these dudes who are angry at the world because they're bald. And what the F? I can't fight them. I could fight everything else. Why can't I fight these guys? I try running past them, and I enter the sewers that has even more stuff I can't click on. So I just figure that maybe this is just a high-level quest that I happen to pick up that I have to come back to. I'm just going to kill some goblins for now. I did this for a while, in fact, to see if maybe I could level up more to fight the baldies. So I start leveling up my attack, which should result in me doing more damage. Right? I do take a break and explore a little bit. I see more quests around me, but in an effort to not overwhelm my primitive monkey brain and to also save my ego a bit, I don't want to immediately give up on the first effing quest I encountered in a genre of game I've been playing since my childhood. So I just kind of take in the sights and enjoy the music. Speaking of which, that's probably one of the most charming things about this game. I'm not really sure how to explain it. It sort of sounds like an 8th grade music student's project. If that music student was Mozart. I love it. The trumpets and the flutes, and it has this medieval composition, but it was made in a MIDI player.
It is good music.
And despite the fact that this is my first time playing, it's oddly nostalgic. Combining that with the sound effects, the game's audio overall is S tier, in my opinion. I'm totally going to be using it in future videos. I decide to take a break from killing goblins and level up my fishing right near Lumbridge. I find some other players doing the same thing. I don't talk to them because I have social anxiety, and it's here where I realized that Runescape is a great idle game. You just click on a spot to fish and then switch back to your trading card game shop simulator and stand in the corner ripping packs like a goblin while your minimum wage employees do all the work. Eventually I have enough of this.
I never got to play Card Shop Sim. I should get that at some point.
Hey, I leveled up my attack. I bet this time I'll do 2 damage per swing now. Okay. Maybe another level or 2. I slay more goblins until I reach level 5, at which point I return to my adventure path NPC for my reward, which is a steel longsword.
Ooh.
Okay. Weapon upgrade. Now I'll definitely deal
1 damage to everything still. That's hilarious.
Okay. Pardon my French here, but what the F? I go visit the Baldies again, who remain unimpressed by my meager progression. But hang on, this is the first quest. Clearly there's something I'm not getting. I give the orb a more thorough investigation, and I find that this isn't where the treasure is at all. Rather, it leads me to a nearby village. I dig once more to reveal another scroll that gives me a cipher. Ez Pizaps Kujikafo. I bring this back to Vios, who gives me a hint to shift the ledgers over once. I think about it for a while, try to puzzle it.
Give me just a second. It's getting real hot out now, so I'm gonna shut my my windows and turn on the AC real quick. All right, there we go.
It out. Realize I'm too stupid.
Yeah, I've heard of the Pokemon card mod, Snake. I think I would do that honestly if I was to actually like play that game. And thank you for the follow on Kick, Angelica XX, much appreciated.
And go back to
we got
goblins.
2 followers now, and anybody else who's watching, by the way, I haven't set up too much with the Kick. I need to get like notifications and whatnot. I was just trying to get my stream elements set up for it as well, get some commands and whatnot. But give it a little bit of time. We're gonna get the Kick a little more set up, and then we should be all good. Much appreciate you guys for coming out and watching. Had 37C today. Oh, dude. Yeah, I think it's right about like 28C here in Colorado right now. 82FC. Yeah, 27.8C it says. So yeah, it's about 28C out right now where I am, and it's supposed to get to around like 30 to 32-ish, I'm pretty sure. Yep, too hot. At least here in Colorado, it's dry heat. It's classic, right? But legitimately, it does make a difference. Like, I can just go out into the shade under a tree, and it's so much cooler. It's so nice. Doing well, Angelica. Much appreciated. Today's my day off from work, so streaming for a little bit. We're doing a little bit of reacting. We might play... There's a couple different games in store after this. I've been playing Lies of P to try to justify getting the DLC, and I'm on Act 7. So we got that. We got Elden Ring Night Rain to play. I'm kind of debating on playing RuneScape myself because I've never played. That's why we're watching a couple of these videos, just because I'm kind of interested in seeing what's going on with all that. And I watch a lot of the Twitch creators like Goooo and Soda Poppin' who have been switching over. And I'm a big WoW guy myself. I play on and off. I'm not as addicted to it as other people, but definitely one of my like formative games. So just kind of doing a little bit of reacting. I've been streaming for consistently around like 7 months now on Twitch, and also doing a little bit of YouTube. Here, I will link the YouTube in chat real quick because I don't have the command yet. But we got that YouTube going. I also got my Twitch. I've been streaming for about 7 months consistently. I first tried streaming like, fuck, how long ago now? Like 6 or 7 years ago, like 2018, 2019. But I've usually lived places that have, I'm just gonna say, a dog shit internet. So I haven't ever really been able to stream well. In the past, when I have streamed, I've lived in some houses where like we've had to have Starlink or other like cell phone service kind of stuff for our internet. So the bandwidth and the latency was just not there. But finally, right now, in the current place I'm living at, I actually have good enough internet where I've been streaming pretty consistently recently, which is really nice. Hoping to keep streaming more. On Kick here, I've mostly been streaming for like a month, pretty much. Not even, probably like 2 weeks. 2-3 weeks, something like that. I'm getting on the multi-streaming hype too, just like everybody else.
I do this all the way until level 20, where I complete my last adventure path quest for attack, and I get this amazing mithril sword, crafted from the heart of a volcano, held with...
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I've watched it on and off. I've had my account for a while, but I don't really use Kick too much.
And I'm still dealing 1 damage.
But now we are.
Cool. Whatever, I'm chilling. I got my trading card game running, waiting for the next Pokemon lawsuit. For a little variety, I decided to switch grinding spots. I start attacking higher level enemies in the swamp, which actually deal damage to me now, so I need to be stocked on heals. But that's not a problem because there's a fishing spot nearby, so it's a nice cozy little grinding spot where I'm running my combat, fishing, cooking, and logging all at once.
I live in Colorado myself.
I figure the best thing I can do is focus on my adventure path, so now that I've maxed out attack, despite only dealing 1 damage still, I switched to defense so I can...
But I'm from all over. I'm originally from California. I've lived here, Oregon, Colorado. I've lived in multiple different of the metro areas in California. I'm from the Bay Area. I've lived in Los Angeles. I've lived in San Diego. I've lived in Sacramento. I've lived in Redding. I've lived in Eugene. I've lived in Denver. I've lived in fucking Boulder. I've lived in Albuquerque. I've lived in Phoenix. Trying to remember all the other places. Santa Cruz. I'm from all over.
Make the grind a little bit more hands-free so I can focus on more important things. Get my defense to 15 doing this, and decide to switch up my stances again, so now I'm getting strength levels, and oh my god. I'm dealing 2 damage. Oh my god, I'm dealing 2 damage. Okay, so before you make fun of me, let's just get this straight for a moment. Upgrading a skill called attack level and equipping higher level weapons in a role-playing game doesn't increase your damage. I don't know, maybe they said this in the tutorial. I'm a warrior main. Reading isn't really my strong suit. Speaking of which, I've realized I've been grinding here for about 5 hours, and I just now realized that there's a quest right next to me. There's this couple who barely escaped an island with their lives. Apparently there's a murderer running afoot, and they're asking me to rescue their friend. So now that I'm dealing 2 damage per hit, I'm feeling pretty cocky. I load up on healing items, and I depart to what seems like a Scooby-Doo mansion. There's an NPC outside, and wait, what the F? A cutscene? The villain from the Scream movies walks up behind him and gives him an aggressive back scratch, and he has a Mustafa-esque drawn-out death, and he very conveniently drops a key to the mansion in a barrel in front of him. Gaining access to the mansion, I'm ready to F stuff up. Full inventory of healing items, dealing 2...
Yo, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Hogwarts7102, doing well, doing a little bit of reacting. I think we're going to play a game after this one, but doing well.
Damage, and it's another puzzle. There are a bunch of doors with colored knobs that you have to figure out how to open. But despite my previous failure, I do have some measure of confidence, being a lifetime survival horror fan. The environment's very Resident Evil-esque, so let's just give it a shot here. Trying the pink door, we witness another murder. The killer taunts you by leaving a clue for you to solve. Isn't murder a work of art? Beautiful, yet haunting, like the blade of a knife, as we wander through the Valley of Death. There's a knife on the table just entering the mansion, and there are a few paintings placed around, so my guess is that you have to cut them open. Because I do have the problem-solving skills of a child, I'm correct. In the room right next door, there's a painting of a valley, and upon using the knife, we get the red key, which grants us access to a room with a broken wall and a barrel of gunpowder. So, obviously we have to light it. I searched the crates to no avail. The next room has some wardrobes, which I saw the killer use to travel, but they're all empty. And I'm stumped for a few minutes until I pan my camera to see that there's a shelf.
Pretty sure this is like Street Fighter music or something, isn't it? Like, pretty sure. I had Tinder in my inventory the whole time, but it's not that easy. The balls are inert. I mean, the fuse is damp, and it won't light. I try to light a campfire on top of it and talk about World of Warcraft in an attempt to dry it out, but it doesn't seem to work. Eventually I find that there are unlit candles in the room, and lighting them all warms the room up enough for the fuse to be lit. Apparently the roaring fire right on top of it wasn't enough, but okay. Suppose that makes sense. So we blow a hole in the wall and progress to witness another murder. He leaves yet another note which reads, "It's like music to my ears, the glorious sounds spelling out your fate." This part was pretty easy, honestly. There's a piano nearby and I spill out the only thing that makes sense. D-E-A-D. I do play a bit of piano. I have very dexterous fingers. Ladies. In fact, the background music you're listening to right now is by yours truly, so please compliment me, even though I won't see it because I'm not going to read comments. But by solving this puzzle, it opens up a compartment in the piano that gives you the green key, which grants access to another room where we witness another murder. The note this time reads,
Hear at first these words, each murder you witness helplessly from start to end. As you fail to solve the final letters of this quiz, razor sharp like a gemstone is the blade of my knife. The last sound you will hear will be of your scream's echo. Heed that I will have the final word in this thriller. Immediately I noticed that the first letter of each line spell out hearth, so I know it has something to do with the fireplace. There are 3 of them that I can reach, and I interact with them in every way, but nothing really seems to work. Have you ever played escape games and you get desperate enough to where you just randomly try combining objects? Aha! It must be the rubber chicken with the clock. Well, I tried that. I tried to light the unlit fireplace. I tried the fish. I tried dousing the others. I was stumped for a good while until, after reading the note for the 50th time, I took notice to this line. Razor sharp like a gemstone is the blade of my knife, so I try the knife with the fireplace, and lo and behold, a switch panel is revealed with 6 gemstones. A diamond, onyx, zenite, ruby, sapphire, and emerald. Looking at the note once more, the answer lies within this line.
Okay.
So failed to solve the final letters of this quiz. S for sapphire, D for diamond, Z for zenite, E for emerald, O for onyx, and R for ruby. So clicking these in that order reveals the final key where you face off mano a mano against the killer in a form of another puzzle. You're in a room with 4 wardrobes and a movable mirror, and he throws daggers from the wardrobes. Pretty simple, as you probably guessed. You push the mirror to reflect the daggers back at him. Upon victory, you come to realize that he is a she. The culprit this whole time was the quest giver, who has a hatred for adventurers and their main character syndrome. The guy she was with was also in on it, and they're about to gank you until they get into an argument, which distracts them long enough for what we thought was another victim to stab them with the sword of 1,000 truths. And that's it. As a reward, you get a quest point, XP, some gems, and this was awesome. As far as the standards are for MMOs, even today, this was one of the coolest quests I've ever done. Like I said, I didn't look anything up, so I was feeling rather proud of myself for my accomplishment of elementary puzzle solving. But that, along with the cutscenes, it was presented very well, and this would be a theme for the rest of my gameplay, I would find. As I continued to level my strength and started dealing more than 1 damage, I revisited Lumbridge and went on a questing orgy. I exorcised a ghost, I slayed a vampire, I saved a guy from being turned into a chicken, and I found a magic sword and slayed a demon. Some quests were easy, some took hours to figure out, and others stumped me completely. Like this one where I'm supposed to find this cat. I found her, but the bastard won't let me pick her up. Her kittens are mewing in these crates, but no matter how many times I try, I can't pick it up. And the quest NPCs don't really give me any information, and I'm stumped, I'll be honest. You know, Jimmy made a video a while back saying how RuneScape doesn't need nostalgia, and that it stands on its own 2 feet. And I know that I've only really scratched the surface here, but I gotta say that I agree. The world is huge. The little quests I've done are some of the most interesting and fun that I've played in MMOs, even by today's standards. As it turns out, there's like this huge series scene with RuneScape on YouTube, and I definitely understand why now. The quests in this game actually have something to them. Isn't that the most serious thing in the world, but there are these narratives and storylines, and even if they are silly, they feel like adventures and they're quite memorable. The music is awesome, the systems and skills are interesting and unique, and the game just oozes charm from every orifice, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. They weren't jagging off when they made this. It's not perfect. Nothing ever is. I feel like the traveling at times can get really laborious. You see, you have something of a stamina meter right here in the top right, which depletes when you run. And when it's out, you walk, and you walk very slowly. I know why it's done. It's the same as with no flying in Old Azeroth. It's to make the world seem big, and the world does seem big in this game. I'm not even saying that it's a flaw, but sometimes I do find myself getting bored traveling from point A to point B.
3 days later.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Later.
Oh, a carrot.
Later.
I'm sure there are ways to improve it.
Oh, a carrot.
I know that you can teleport if you level up magic, or maybe if you run naked or something, it drains slower, or maybe there's an item or a potion that you can get or craft, but as someone who's trying to not look anything up, I personally have not found it yet. The game also has bonds, which are the equivalent of the WoW token. You buy them with gold and use them to gain membership time, or you can buy them with real money and then sell them for gold in the auction house. So there is a paid element here. Those of you who've watched, I don't know, one video on my channel probably know I don't care for stuff like this. Told you so, by the way. I think it kind of defeats the purpose of an RPG if you're able to buy progression.
Yeah.
It sort of feels like the most efficient way to progress is with your wallet instead of your time, which isn't as satisfying.
This is stupid.
I guess I don't care about it as much in RuneScape because I'm not emotionally attached to it like I am with WoW, for one, but also just because I'm not familiar with it really. Like in Classic, it's really bad because combined with GDKPs and arena carries, you can literally buy the best gear in the game with your credit card. It's like, are there even raids in RuneScape? Do they have the best gear? Are they GDKP runs? Is the PvP competitive? I don't know, I just can't imagine watching a RuneScape PvP video and being like, oh my god, bro, did you see how he switched from lunge to slash? That was some top tier shit. I don't know.
Classic, man.
That's probably up in the air, depending on how you play or what you care about. I guess for me, at this stage in the game, I don't really see it affecting me. But all in all, it's a fun game. I'm kind of addicted, actually. I even got it on my effing phone.
How close are we to the end? Pretty close.
Series, if you guys like it enough, I would say let me know, but like I said, I'm not going to look at the comments of this video, but I don't know, we'll see. What I do know is that it has a lot of charm. If you do want to check out old school RuneScape, either on desktop or mobile, click my links in the description and the pinned comment. Like I said, it's free to play with bonuses and more content for members, and from a lifelong World of Warcraft player, it gets my seal of approval.
Okay.
And it came at a good time.
That was a pretty
I
good video.
recently broke up with my girlfriend, so I see no better option than to spend my time being a depressed middle-aged man grinding goblins in the recreation of a 20-year-old video game.
Yeah, been there, bro. Been there. All right. Well, those are pretty good. 2 really good reacts. That was pretty fun. Got to watch a little bit of videos. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then we are going to figure out if we're going to watch more stuff, and if we're not going to watch more stuff, what game to play. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. All right, so do we watch more videos or do we play some games? You know what? Let's play more of the Literally Me ARPG. Let's do it. So we're going to change this to Lies of P, save. Set game Lies of P. And yeah, we'll just leave the YouTube as whatever. Let's do it. To eat up for them. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm not dying to you. Easy. A quartz? Alright, that's pretty good. That's not too bad. Let's see what else I can do. Got this. Oh! Yeah, I don't see that bear trap. Okay, let's see. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, yeah, that's what I was trying to do yesterday. That's right. Let's see. There it is. Sweet. Okay, cool. We didn't die. Good shit. Whoop. Off you go. Alright, not bad. Okay, not too bad. You gotta be kidding me. Is that really? Is this for real? There's just no way. I'm about to die. Yep, I knew it. Rip bozo. I swear if my souls are on that platform though, I'm gonna scream. I'm a fucking riot. There's still a butterfly around here somewhere? Okay. We'll look for that guy at some point. Dude, these bear traps, man. There we go. Up. I see you. Oh, come on. How did that not hit? Easy. Okay, what's up here? Let's see. Oh, nice. There it is. Sweet. Stamina. Stamina for sure right now. Oh my god, that's insane. And goodbye. Let's see here. Ooh. Okay. Let's pull you all back over here. Oh, what? Oh! Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, I see you. Don't act like I don't frickin' see you. Where the fuck? Oh, I'm slowed down. Goop, of course. Okay. Get out of here. Did that thing just say, "I'll kill us all"? That's kind of creepy. I didn't realize they had that voice line. Uh-oh, I got added. Wokage. Yeah, I'm going to do one thing real quick. Okay, there we go. Another one? Oh, come on. Ooh, a Legion caliber. That's pretty good. Oh, nope. Don't stand on the fire. That's bad, apparently. Oh, over here. Ah! What the fuck was that? Bro, what the fuck was that? What the fuck? No, other way. So, oh my god. Oh, I got pushed in by a fucking... That's insane. Okay. Alright. Oh! Hello, buddy. This has to be the spot. Yes. Okay. Okay, that just falls. Dude, what in the sense fortress kind of bullshit? This is just Sen's Funhouse. Oh god. And it's gonna fall on me. Much appreciated, yo. I am all good on that. I am gonna do it all grassroots myself. Much appreciated, though. No doing that here. If I don't become big, I don't become big, and so be it. Wouldn't have been the first time. I was already in the music industry before, my guy. Okay. And, alright. Alright, we made it. Where am I supposed to go? Ah. Oh! I barely dodged that. Now let's wait for... Yep. Oh, go. Go! Oh my god, that was so close. Holy shit. Whoop. Oh my god, what the fucking bear thing? Do I have fire abrasive? Yes! Pretty easy. Oh, are you kidding me? Easy clap, huh? The one thing I'm gonna do, because I know Eliza P always gets... No, in-game I think it is. Yeah, in-game. In-game, in-game, in-game. There we go. Hello? There it is. Interesting. Oh yeah, I think that's one of the, let's take a look at... Slightly heavy. Nope, okay, so we have to keep using that for now. Oh, look at that. Oh, cool. Yep, there it is. I knew something was gonna happen. I just felt like it was. What the? That's creepy as fucking hell. Nope. All right. Ooh, baby. I need to try real quick. There we go. No! Fuck, man. Oh my god. Oh my. Game. This fucking game, man. The game is Dark Souls 2. I still need to finish Dark Souls 2. I still have the last boss of the King DLC. Oh! Anyway, still have like one DLC and one boss from another DLC to do in Dark Souls 2 at some point. I think I might just do a Dark Souls redo one of these months. I was mentioning before. Oh, good. We're not dying again. Run it! Boom! Nice.
from the direction of Krot Central Station. Oh, this could be bad, pal. Really, really bad.
Hey, are you a treasure hunter too? Strange to me, someone in my line of work. I know how this looks, but I'm not a thief or anything. I am on a serious expedition. You wouldn't happen to know a treasure hunter named Alidoro, would you? I'm a big fan. I plan my expeditions to follow Alidoro's traces, but this lock has me at a dead end, and I so wanted to explore the Hermit's Cave. All I can do is keep plugging away. If you come back by, say hello. Maybe I'll get this place open.
Okay. Oh, good, another stargazer. Oh? What is that thing? That green thing is huge? Okay. Huh. So there's like a beast out here or something? Ah. It's probably right here, huh? How much ergo do I need to level up? 12... 207? Okay, yeah, let's just go farm that. Come on, need just a little more XP. Come on, just a little more. There's the level, nice. Oh. What the fuck was that? Nice. Yeah, let's do a little more vigor. Vigor. Anger. Ooh. Oh boy. Dude, what the hell is that? Ooh. Chicken ducky. Oh my god. Ew. So, ugh. Oh, what? It can die this round. What the fuck? Light on fire, bitch. You have to have a face to get going. I just know he's got to have a face too. There's no way you have a face, Andy. Oh, come on, man. How do I do that? So get off of me. Oh god, man. Oh god. Oh! What the fuck do I do? Oh my. Oh, this is gonna be a tough boss. I was about to say tough bus. The fuck is a tough bus? Fire canister. Yeah, this will be good. We're just gonna burn this guy to the ground. Let's try to burn this bad boy. What do I do there? Okay, I see. Come on, buddy. Come on, motherfucker. Oh, you're not so big the second time around, huh? I swear to God, if you have a second fucking face. I knew it! What? No way. Are you for real? What in the hermit crab nightmare? I'm sorry, what was that? The fuck was that? Do I have... Okay, so we're not going to need fire. We're going to need shock. Shock is what we need for the second phase. Acid. Strike damage. Electric blitz. I knew he was going to have a second phase, man. They always do. Okay, I know a couple things we can go do. I'm pretty sure we can go upgrade my weapon. Hey, Snake, actually, I got a random question for you. A couple days ago, I think it was even yesterday, I was talking to one of my European friends. And since it's been hot, right, the discussion of air conditioning came up. And I'm actually curious because I was on the same side as her, but I'm curious. Do you believe or feel that excessive air conditioning is unhealthy? It can make you sick? It's just not good to breathe recycled air. Do you have any of those kind of like opinions or thoughts out of curiosity? Or was it you I was talking to? No, it was my my other friend. But yeah, do you feel like excessive air conditioning is bad? Because I do. And a lot of Americans don't, which is very interesting. That's one of the reasons why AC is so excessively used here, is because honestly people don't feel that way. Like, I bring it up because I have my air conditioning on right now, but I'm about to turn it off because it's making the air feel fucking weird in here. Dude, nice. We got 3 followers on Kick today. And they and I hit like 6 concurrent viewers there at one point, which is really good. Where is Hot Lady? Where's the Hot Lady? No, not you. You're old. Where's Hot Level Up Lady? Ah.
Whatever.
Oh, there we go. Do I have any? Yes. But not quite enough. Okay, I know what we're gonna go do. I also might end stream here in just a little bit. But we shall see. Okay, all completely valid reasons as well, and very, very good to be mindful of those things, because that's also a rarity. Yeah, I don't know, at least for me, maybe it's like an autism thing, because the person I was talking to is also autistic, so it may be that. But like, if I am in an environment all day long where it's only air-conditioned recycled air, whether it's like my own home or a business or anything like that, if I don't get fresh air, I start to go a little stir crazy. And I've kind of noticed that in myself as the years have gone by. Because I grew up in the deep south in the United States, in South Carolina, and it gets hot and humid there into the summer, where it's like 90 and 90% humidity. Like, you can see the water in the air. And I was just in air-conditioned environments all the time. Oh, what the fuck is back here? Wait, what the? Oh, okay, let's done that. But just I feel like whenever I'm around air conditioning too much, I just feel gross. I need like fresh, real air. This inside air is fake. I don't know. I feel like I can like smell or like feel like the plant volatile like phytochemicals in the air, you know? And, like my body feels like it really craves and needs that in the environment. Which is why I hate being in like super man-made environments. Although I do appreciate them, of course. But like certain cities I don't really like being in because there aren't enough like trees or like natural escapes. Even though cities are a wonderful thing. Stupid robot. No. Alright, let's hope this is something good. Ooh, nice! Another Vanini item. That's good. That's actual good. There's actual poggers. Oh, wait, what's over here? Skip them backstabs. Okay, there we go. Now we can do this.
Master Vanini's collection box. You are indeed full of surprises, sir. Patrons of prestige can always count on seeing a bit more than the average customer. I am talking about you, sir. Shall we pay a visit to the House of Vanini's private reserve? At the House of Vanini, even priceless things have a price. Every item is a treasure of distinguished quality and superior provenance. At the house...
I know my way around. No matter what fate brings us, I will be at Lady Antonia's side. Serving her is my duty, the very reason I was created. Welcome to Hotel Krat. How may I be of service?
Oh, that does way more damage now. All right, let's see how this goes. What the fuck? Oh, come on, man. Filthy boss! Nope. Bruh. I think I'm gonna end stream. I might go live again later today, although I've been saying that recently and not doing it. I've been following through at all. But I kind of want to go sit out on my porch for a little bit and just go relax. Ugh. I don't know, maybe let's see. Is there something else I could do right now instead of Lies of P? I don't know. I might not. I'm back and forth right now. I'm kind of indecisive today. I've been a little indecisive about stream recently in general, just because I'm not sure exactly what to do. And now I sound like S-Fand. Like I have a ton of games I could play, honestly. I don't know which ones I should do. I don't know, maybe I should get back into vintage stories still. I've been thinking that too. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna end. I think I'm just gonna go chill out for a little bit. I might be live a little later though, like I said. We'll see. Much love, Snake. I really appreciate you a lot, man. Very much appreciate you for coming by today. We will keep doing a little more of these Kick streams too. We got 3 followers on Kick today. That's actually pretty decent. That's honestly not bad. And I think I might start introing with these like just chatting sections because that seemed to do pretty good. And why not watch YouTube videos I like just on stream, right? Maybe we'll even watch some like educational stuff and whatnot. But thank you so much, Snake, and everybody for coming out. Super appreciated. I'm going to chop up this YouTube video from today, too, for that reacts that I did. But much love. Have a wonderful day, yo. Peace.